What's going on, disc golf fans? Round 2 is upon us here at the 2025 Las Vegas Challenge. Always proudly sponsored by Innova here in Las Vegas at Wildhorse Disc Golf Course. Proudly brought to you by our Patreon supporters as well. Thank you so much. I'm Derek and Chris in the booth once again.
Yo, yo, yo. We are back for day 2. We're at the Innova course. And when conditions are good, scores can be really good on this course. We've seen some hot scores over the years. We have Emerson Keith, Jacob Courtis, Tall Paul Oman, and a new face, Houston Finch, rounding out this lead card. A couple other names there on Chase card that look familiar, trying to make a push on moving day.
All right, let's jump into hole 1, par 3, 393. Going to be, honestly, it's attackable with a forehand as well as a backhand. Forehand puts you up towards that mound.
From Terrell, Texas, Emerson Keith.
We saw Emerson on the lead card last year, the LVC. So he knows how to play well here. And with not a lot of changes to the course, everyone should be able to attack it if they're familiar over the years of playing here.
Next up on the tee box from Buena Park, California, Jacob Courtis.
Now we're 2 for 2 here for the sidearm approach.
Yeah, Jacob Courtis, a.k.a. Cupcake. I think this is the first time he's been on our coverage as well. I think we're 2 for 2 with new faces. Trying to think of any other times.
Throwing third from Evansville, Indiana, Paul Oman.
First time we ever filmed Paul was in Indiana at the 2020 Gibson
County Challenge. Yeah.
Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was with C's. I had Classic, but it seemed like a lifetime ago. So far, no one's really gotten too close.
Utah, Houston, Finch.
All right, back here for the sidearm. Don't know too much about Houston other than hailing from Utah. So always looking forward to seeing new faces, new names.
Yeah, and Team Infinite, which makes sense with them being based out of there. So he'll be throwing a mixed bag here.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really incredibly in striking distance for it to be anything too crazy. I think everybody played for par.
Yeah, Jacob just outside the circle.
Nice.
Starts off the round with the birdie. Now just one stroke off of Emerson. So this was the 5th easiest hole. About a quarter of the field taking birdie here, and that's kind of what we just saw. So we're going to move into hole 2, par 3. Probably the most wooded hole on the course.
Yeah.
We have a low ceiling here. Some conifers right on the green that just keep getting lower and lower. Just making that ceiling so low.
I kind of got slapped out of the air there early. Slight early release from Emerson, but shouldn't matter. Slightly obstructed. Mid circle 2. This is looking good.
Good line there from Paul.
Got stopped up
Yeah,
there,
look at-
keeping it from entering too deep into that bush.
Ooh.
Yeah, the one to beat.
Well, and this just a little right on the release, and
It had
it's
a little
been high, but
yeah, had a little fight in it.
so he does have a chance to save his par. Emerson gives it a semi-bid there. He'll be looking at his par. Looking at
Nice
a
putt.
first blemish. Paul looking at his first birdie. That flag is so still right now. And I mentioned in round 1, the first half of this tournament is where you want to be aggressive and get your strokes, as rounds 3 and
Impending
4
weather.
have some high winds.
So let's jump into hole 3, 260. OB all along the path, the right side, and obviously the wooder. Drop zone right before the pond. So no gimme. Controlled drive off the tee.
Ooh.
You need to push that corner.
And Paul did just that. Parked for birdie.
Courtis going
Okay.
way wide, way wider than Paul's, I mean. Disturbing the flock, but gently.
Ooh,
That
this
looks a
he
little
knew it
sharp.
right out of the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
See our first OB of the round. Houston trying to bounce back, and it's not going to happen with a shot like that. Ooh, so close. Just a little too much. So a couple early bogeys. Not really what you want to see here on lead card.
It's coming in hot. Did you see it bounce off that center?
Yeah, that was a little close. Oh, Paul's got 2. We got
So
a
I
lot
think-
of comments.
Yeah, I think one that I really like is preheating the oven.
Yeah.
Brining
There's
the
like-
bird. I like
Yeah, I
that
was
one
gonna say,
too.
like prepping the bird, brining the bird.
Collegiate Nationals debuted in 2007, fueled by the vision of Pete May, with support from his good friend and Innova co-founder, Harold Duvall. Innova has been all in since day one, and we've been presenting sponsor ever since. So thank you to the players, the staff, the volunteers, and all of the sponsors who helped make this event possible. At Innova, we see a bright future in college disc golf, and we are proud to be part of the journey.
All right, jumping into hole 4, 422, par 3. Just got to get right over this hill. Kind of blocks the basket a little bit, but you can see the flag. All depends on the wind. When the wind is low, you can really get in the basket, get a birdie here. If not, you see a lot of people kind of leak out to the left. Ball's going to catch a little bit of greenery there and stop him up about halfway.
That should check up pretty nicely. Kind of putting laterally, almost to the same level as the pin. I was going to say that needs to flip a little.
Gets a lot of distance after catching a little bit of the tree pretty early in the flight.
This is looking good.
Yeah, there we go. In the circle. Nice shot, Houston. Looking to avoid that bloody pavement. As expected from E there.
Smooth form there from Paul.
Yeah, out of the hand, it looked good.
So yeah, just like I was thinking, he's actually a little more elevated than the pin. And that might be...
Oh,
Whoa.
no.
That's very unfortunate.
He's the third one now to be riddled with the bogey monster here.
Great bounce back from Houston. Love to see that.
Boy, the Innova course making things colorful.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this track here on the property. As we jump into hole 5, 656-foot par 4. That tree that we just passed is the one to beat, landing anywhere in the middle with OB green near the basket, sloping downward on the backside with OB path. OB far left as well, so you don't want to push it.
And that's about all you need there. From Finch, you just, like you said, just got to miss that tree.
You know, I was going to say, hopefully that turns. A little hard to see some of these angles just because of the color of the sky. It was very overcast today.
This is like the bad kind of overcast. Like there's like the good overcast you get kind of like on a rainy day, and then this is like that weird spotty overcast where
it's basically the same color as most discs, you know. Like, but the overcast did help with the temperatures. It was a much more comfortable round. Slight breeze to keep things cool.
Oh, this is cooked here. From Jacob, this is OB by a mile here. Should be able to save his par, though. He's way down the fairway. Yep.
Yep.
That was
Nice.
a little close.
Oh.
Man, everyone's catching a little rid of these trees here early on.
That's 2 times now Emerson hitting some foliage and still being able to fight through.
This is a good angle from Paul.
Oh, yeah, checks up nicely.
Yeah, about 20 feet or so.
Playing off the green, skipping right up. This, yeah, curls up perfectly. Good recovery.
Ooh.
I like to see it, running it with the backdrop off.
Yeah, with the rewind. I was just thinking, I was like, man, this is a pretty tricky putt.
I mean, yeah, you miss, you're kind of in the shit. Because there's OB path, like with that elevation
it
change,
kicks
it
up or
really could
something.
drift. Yeah.
Never know. All right. Couple birdies.
Houston's preheating the oven.
It's about the most wind we've seen so far this round.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a... Yeah, I was going to say like a right to left. That makes sense of where it hit. And back to almost none.
We're going to go into the shortest hole on the course. Hole 6, 222 feet. One of the more iconic holes on this course. Throw what you know. Keep it in bounds. Just hit this hillside.
Yeah, Houston going right at it. Checks up in the just outside the bullseye. Nice smooth shot. Emerson going a little wider, a little higher. Kind of got pushed down at the end, I think.
2 for 2, right on the green. Tall paw.
They're really...
So he doesn't even have to putt.
They're losing a lot of height on these shots pretty quickly. Let's see that again. Look how quickly it's dropping.
Yeah, and traditionally that it is a left to right here that you feel. And
wow, what a cluster of shots that we see here for a lead card.
Gave Paul the replay, but then Courtis is like, I'm going to be even closer. So I guess he gets one too.
I think they did have CTP here, but I do think someone had already aced it. Is that correct?
Well, let me check. Not on my stats. Yep, you're on it.
Houston
Thomas
with the turkey.
Tomaselli. Taking it down. Got the ace.
Welcome to our instructional disc golf series. If you're ready to take that next step, you've come to the right place. Before we get started on any techniques, I just want to put it out there. There's no substitute for time. Every technique we work on in this series, it's going to require you getting some reps in the field, taking that skill to the course, and putting in the time to have an effective use of those new techniques. Good luck, and it's going to be fun.
All right, the infamous hole 7. That's a fun one. 432-foot par 4. You got hazard for both sand traps. OB early on the green. Severe slope on the backstop with OB behind. Going OB results in drop zone from the shorter tee pad.
Slow down.
That should have hung there. Yeah, sick.
Is good. A little wider here from Emerson.
Did it?
Whoa.
Bummer.
Yeah, literally, he was even just saying, just throw it in, just trying to throw it into the bunker. And it literally rolled out. And it's much tougher.
Man. This is playing so fast today.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder to get up and down from the drop zone as opposed to just taking your putt from the hazard.
Yep.
So Emerson's still a little bit of work here on the 7th as this is looking absolutely perfect. That's a tap-in eagle right there. Flattens up just at the perfect angle. Skips right off the green.
Touches down at a really good spot, too, to give it enough time to kind of burn out.
This is getting pretty hairy. Whew. Landing on the thinnest part of the green/fairway.
Smart play from Houston with that strong right to left uphill. Paul says, I want the eagle too.
Yeah, that was a very committed putt. Love to see it.
Great par save from Emerson.
Yes, we're actually seeing a third of the eagles on the day, so there were 6 total.
Wow.
Barring anything crazy here.
And Houston
There
filling
it
up
is.
his board. All greens for Houston, too.
Is that some pumpkin pie? It is a dessert, as we're going to move into hole 8, 467 feet. This one is pretty tricky for people. Always, somehow, people find the OB here. It comes up pretty quick on the backside with the cart path. And a tough distance to really park the shot. You don't see a lot of people parking it.
This is looking wonderful.
As I say that, Paul throws
You know what that was?
basically a bullseye shot. Putter,
A rock.
a rock.
Mm-hmm. Old rock. Look at that flare there. That's going to be... Is that... I
Cir-
can't remember.
A little
Circle's
outside
edge,
circle. Yeah, a little outside, probably 40. Ooh, this is wide, but it's going to drop right on in. That's in striking distance for a birdie as well. Houston really starting to pick it up after being 2 over.
I like to see the variety of attack as well. Backhand and forehand. All right, so everybody stays safe. Solid putt.
Money, money, money. That is 5 in a row for the man.
Out here to make a name for himself. Representing
Seriously.
Utah well. Looks like Jacob just missed right chain high.
Emerson and his birdie trying to keep pace with the lead.
Ooh.
I would say that's probably the first putting woe that we've seen out of Jacob. The one that he missed earlier was the basket, I would say. This one, a little more user error. Whoa there, Paul. Sick birdie.
All right, let's round out the front 9 here with 641-foot par 4. You've got to beat the trees early. Basically, just throw something to get it out there because your approach is the next thing. Although, no hazard anymore before the green as they are reclaiming that with grass. You don't want to push too far to the right. Wooded area there makes it real tight to approach the basket.
Yeah, and there is OB way over there on the right that if you get a bad kick or something, if you're in those trees. This is a hole that's, I feel like it's getting easier and easier. If there was a hole that they were going to change to make harder, this would probably be one of the first ones, as 641 par 4, not a lot of danger.
I would also imagine that's probably what they're thinking, considering they're reclaiming that sand trap.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they've already thought of that.
Yeah, especially with moving the tee pad for 10 a couple years ago. As
That's a little
this
inside,
is a rip.
but flat.
Wow.
Well, that had to flip over so nicely in the in between, playing so close to that left
Yeah, look at
side.
this flip right there.
Wow, what a crush!
A little bit of turn. Houston just keeping it up, dude. I think that's six in a row.
Yeah.
It's a 6-pack for Houston.
Is that enough turkey for leftovers? So
Dude, he's literally preheated the oven. He's had the turkey. He ate some pumpkin pie. He sat around, had a 6-pack of beer with some leftover turkey. Paul scorecard looking good too. 5 through 4. Yeah, this was the second easiest hole. There was an eagle. Shout out Jake Lapuka. Got the eagle.
wow, look how much of a run Houston is going. Getting himself within striking distance of the leader.
Yeah, tall Paul Oman. Solo first right now, bogey free through the first 9. A couple people on his heels though. So that's gonna finish us up here. Round 2. Moving day number 1.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.